An exciting Game 1 is in the books. It's now time for Game number 2 of the Tri-State Orthopedics Bosse Winter Classic here at Evansville Bosse High School. Game number 2 is brought to you by Tri-State Orthopedics. Go where the pros go. Stiefel Reuter Investment Group, helping you pursue your financial goals. And by Nations Medicines, your local Evansville pharmacy. Troy Derengowski and myself, Jarrett Lewis, it's a pleasure to be back. We saw a very exciting opening game of this Winter Classic, Troy. The pace was blistering. Guys were ready to play. Ultimately, it was a win for Henderson County of Kentucky. The Colonels 59-47 over Princeton. They've set the bar pretty high. We've got a long way to go, but Game 2 we know is going to be just as good with some tremendous athletes from Jeffersonville and Evansville Christian.
You know, I was hoping that you would say, you know what, Troy, because of your age and after that massive game we had in Game 1, I'm too tired to do Game 2, but I guess I can't do that, can I?
We're switching roles, but we have to stick around for another game. So
yeah, it was an exciting game, and I think I'm like you when I look at Game 2, and we're all familiar with Jeffersonville and the long tradition they have of just very good basketball teams, and I'm excited to see Evansville Christian. They're big, they're physical, they've got guys that can score some big-time points, and I know we'll talk about them throughout this game, but I think it's going to be just at the end of this one, whose will is going to be stronger than the other one. I think Jeffersonville's going to be team. They're young. They want to get up and down the floor. I would imagine when you look at this Evansville Christian team, they want to play that good half-court, stiff defense as well. So it could be just a matter of whose will is stronger in the end.
And it could also be if they could learn anything from that first game, it's probably you better be in it for the long haul. Yeah. You need some longevity. Down the stretch, you're going to have to make some plays, make some free throws, and limit your turnovers. That was sort of the difference as Princeton kind of sort of fell apart in that fourth quarter. And then for Henderson County, they were able to kind of attack that zone defense properly and end up getting to the free throw line and making their free throws, and they get the 12-point victory. And now we will feature the Eagles of Evansville Christian. They're ranked number 4 in Class A, 4-2 on this season. For Jeffersonville, a Class 4A squad, they're 3-2 this season. You mentioned a young group. Both sides are pretty lengthy for Jeffersonville.
Yeah.
We'll feature 2 guys. Trey Singleton, he's a sophomore at 6'7", and 6'8" is Ben Kalanji, a senior. There's some good length on the side of the Eagles, but those Jeffersonville boys sure do stick out.
Yeah, they're not really big and thick, but let's go to the starting lineups first.
We'll announce the starting lineups. First of all, the visitors of Jeffersonville. At guard, number 5, Michael Cooper. Guard number 15, Connor Lyons. Guard number 24, Sean Boyd. Forward number 0, Trey Singleton. And forward number 12, PJ Douglas. Coaching the Red Devils, Mr. Sharon Wilkerson. Starters for the home team on the scoreboard, the Evansville Christian Eagles. At guard number 14, Caden Knabb. At guard number 22, Josiah Dunham. Center number 21, Luke Davis. Forward number 32, Jackson Chesser. And then forward number 11, Jake Schnepper. Coaching the Eagles, Mr. David Cruz.
So there's some of those tall guys that we had mentioned. And for Evansville Christian, their whole lineup is just about 6'3" or taller. And then, of course, have to mention Josiah Dunham in the season that he's having 26.5 points along with 5.5 assists and rebounds. This is the first official year that Evansville Christian is a member of the IHSAA, and what a first season it has been as kind of Josiah Dunham goes, the junior, the rest of the team goes. And Evansville Christian will begin things controlling the tip, and we're underway.
Well, you mentioned Dunham, and he also shoots the ball extremely well from the three-point line, so you know the Red Devils will have to keep an eye on him.
Swing in the corner. First shot is up. It's a three. It's good for Caden Knabb. The sophomore gets us going awfully quick.
Yeah, they had a good set there. I think that's the opening play they wanted to see. And when you can bury that first one, it gives you confidence.
Can Jeffersonville respond? They can. A 3 of his own for Connor Lyons.
Yeah, they're three-headed monster. When you talk about Trey Singleton, just a sophomore at 16-10.
That one hangs on the rim but goes out. A fight for the loose ball, and it's controlled by Douglas.
Yeah, Cooper's at 15, and you got Douglas at 14 again. 3 really good sophomores.
Good extra pass, but the 3 is too strong for PJ. Evansville heading the other way. Dunham, his first attempt off the front iron. Douglas picks up the pace again. Into the corner. He's already made one shot. Now a drive and a deflected pass. 3 in the corner. It's too strong for Cooper, but an offensive rebound. Another 3. Too strong. Track down. Out of bounds. Will head the other way.
Yeah, I like Singleton. He got that offensive board the first time. Able to get the pass out. Come back. Go after the loose basketball. You know, you got to teach young players how to hustle, and he did exactly what they wanted him to do.
Quickly up the floor. And now a drive left side, nearly blocked, but up and in with the right for Jake Schnepper.
Yeah, they don't lack in quickness. I think when you think about these two teams, you think maybe more Jeffersonville, but you can tell already that this Evansville team is very, very good in quickness.
Dunham on the drive. What's the call? Looks like a blocking foul, and that'll... Or are we heading the other way?
I think it's a good basket, too. I mean, they're going to count it, yes, and so he got the blocking foul. I like this young man right here. I know his numbers are telling us, 26 points a game, but he also averages 6 assists per game, so he's able to distribute the basketball with a tough-nosed kid, really strong, and does a nice job body control to the basket.
Really strong. We're right here on the floor, and Dunham, he's kind of built how Gerard Thomas was built a little bit for Henderson County. Just a real big, tough, strong kid for being a guard on this Evansville Christian team, and he converts the three-point play. Evansville Christian an early 8-3 lead and an early timeout called by Coach Wilkerson.
Yeah, and it's a good timeout. It's early in the ball game. You want your team to settle down a little bit. It's only a 5-point game, but you saw in their last possession, probably didn't get the looks that they wanted. They want a lot more touches when you talk about Singleton at 6'7". Doesn't have a lot of body mass, only 200 pounds, but I think they'd like to see him down a little bit lower. But, boy, if they get Douglas going and if they get Cooper going, they'll be okay. But they got to get him in the offense, let him get touches. Singleton
and Davis match up pretty well down low, but it's been mostly the play of the guards trying to get the scoring going. Deflected out of bounds. Coach David Cruz loves what he's seen out of his defense in his second year.
Well, he likes it because Jeffersonville has run that set a couple of times, and they're trying to get that guard down on the baseline, throw on the corner to get a 3, but you have that opposite side forward dropping down, got a good deflection.
Sean Boyd will run the point, and now Singleton steps out. A couple of dribbles, and the shot from the free throw line is off the back of the rim.
I think they'd like to see him maybe a little bit closer. I was watching him in warm-ups, and he's not as consistent from the outside yet.
Tough drive by Dunham. He draws another foul. This time it'll be on Douglas. And Josiah Dunham, early work getting to the charity stripe.
Well, he has a good first step. If you don't get that first step under control, and I'm talking about as a defender, he beats you off that step, and he's reading the defender where he's leaning one way or the other, and he did a great job off the left side.
First free throw rims out, though, for Josiah.
If I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when you look at the starting lineups for both these teams, well, they had 2 seniors on both sides. So you kind of think about the youth of these teams, and there's just a lot of young kids out here.
There's a massive junior class for Evansville Christian, and a lot of sophomores thrown in the mix on the side of Jeffersonville. He's gone on a scoring drought. They'll drive in. The handoff to Singleton was there. It was off the mark, but the passer got fouled. That was Douglas.
I think they got number 12 on that. Or was that 21, Davis? Well, the one thing about youth is you've got to be patient with them. And as talented as they may be, when you're looking at the varsity level, you've got to learn to play under control, and that's what Sharon Wilkerson will have to do with this team, is be very patient.
Patient offensive set run here. Douglas on the block, sees a double team and is forced to kick out. Shot in the short corner is true for Connor Lyons. He has all 5.
Yeah, I like the way they were a little patient. The set didn't go exactly the way they wanted, but they were able to settle it down.
Down low, Davis may have got hacked, but no foul called. He stepped out of bounds.
But he had a bad angle. He got the one dribble, the power dribble, as you call it. But once he made that power dribble, he was too far underneath the basket, and then by that time the defense converged on him. He's going to have to get his body back a little bit further away from the basket, give himself a chance to make a good shot.
A few substitutions. Evansville Christian, they haven't made any yet, but Jeffersonville has just brought in Ray Laird. Red Devils trying to get things organized.
Well, here's the patience you need. I mean, you're talking about an Eagles team that is probably more upperclassmen. I know they're a 1A team, but they are very, very good on defense.
Singleton, that one rims out. And now pushing it up will be Dunham.
Well, I like this kid.
Really good dribble package that time, and Dunham's 3 is awfully good. Josiah Dunham has 6 early points.
By the way, University of Southern Indiana, they have coaches here watching this game. I think I'd get him right now.
Correction, Dunham has 7 points. Yeah, we saw them practicing here early before the first game got going. A couple of bounces off the rim. Laird offensive board, and the putback is good. Ray Laird off the bench, making an impact already.
Yeah, look at this play here. I mean, that is just smooth by Joshua Dunham.
Before the free throw, Coach Cruz brings in Andrew Wynn.
For Jeffersonville, number 23.
You know, one thing about that offensive rebound that you saw by Laird is you're going to have to box out when you talk about how athletic this Jeffersonville team is, because they're quick off their feet. They can get that ball very quickly, so you've got to make sure you box out.
Dunham skips that pass. Corner 3, too strong. But the newly man who just checked in, Lynn, offensive board, leads to a Dunham 3. That bounces off the head of Singleton. A third chance, perhaps, for Evansville Christian. Drive, some contact, no foul called on Schnepper.
Yeah, Schnepper was anticipating contact. He took his eye off the rim, and that cost him.
Shot fake and a drive. Cross-court pass. Jeffersonville will now reset.
And I like this. Back to the word patience. If it's not there, don't force it.
Singleton, hands off.
See, they're not really running a weave because they'll bring a post guy out and work with a two-guard offense here, but I'm not sure that's what they were looking for.
Singleton offensive board, and he finally scores, the 6'7" sophomore.
Well, he bailed him out of that set with that offensive rebound because they really kind of broke down there.
Pass into the high post. Out to Dunham, who's making some quick cross-court passes. This one won't end up an assist, but he will grab an offensive rebound. Dunham, enough space to rise up, too strong. Singleton will bring it up.
See, I like what they've done now. Not there. Let's reset it. Let's make it a good half-court set. They're not able to run as much as they would like, but now they're doing better in that half-court. Only right there, I know what he was trying to do. His thought process was, you know what? If I can drive, kick it in the corner, suck that forward inside to make sure he helps, and I had a wide-open 3. Unfortunately, could not find him in the corner.
Jeffersonville has fought back and made it a one-possession game.
Yep. Almost threw that one away, though, huh?
Right in front of us. Good pass. Can't convert, but gets his own rebound and puts it back in. P.J. Douglas, he's had a couple of opportunities and finally is able to get one through.
See, that's what you do. You run that little weave out front. You're hoping somebody's going to break down, forget to keep their eye on their man, and that's exactly what happened that time to Evansville Christian's defense.
They swing it around. Good trailing defense trying to keep Dunham intact. Here's a drive. Drawing the foul. He'll go to the line. Jackson Chesser. First time we've called his name this afternoon, and he's going to stick out with those bright orange. You call that orange?
Well, whatever color you want to call it, you better be able to play when you wear those shoes, right? So you're going to stick out amongst everybody. But you know what? You look at him, you look at a couple of these players like Dunham, and you already mentioned Chesser. You can tell these guys have been in the weight room, and they're very strong, very smooth. I will not be surprised if this team doesn't make a really strong, deep run in the tournament.
Lucky to corral that pass in with just one arm was Cooper. Drive, another dish, but cleaned up a turnover. Evansville Christian with 30 seconds. Will they move quickly? Dunham outside. 3 from the right wing. Off the side of the rim, fighting for a loose ball is Dunham. Boy, you mentioned strength. You better box out this Evansville Christian team.
Well, you know the other thing, and you're exactly right. The other thing, they are so smart. Their basketball IQ is excellent. You can tell they know where everybody's supposed to be, and if you're not there, you better get there because that's where the pass is going. So they're just, again, fundamentally very sound.
Dunham stepped out of bounds. He's fighting hard to get loose of Avery McDuffie, who's checked in off the bench.
We talk about their IQ, and I really like the patience I've seen from Jeffersonville in the half court. When things aren't there, they don't force it.
Some weaving action, and now attacking at 8. Corner 3. It's good. Taking the lead as the final seconds wind down. A good made 3 by Cooper. Jeffersonville on top 15-14 after our first quarter of play.
Welcome to the Evansville-Vanderburgh School Corporation. Proudly serving the students of Evansville and Vanderburgh County, the EVSC is the 3rd largest school district in the state of Indiana with more than 22,000 students. In our 40 schools, we have over 25,000 student devices so that every student has access to an iPad, Chromebook, or laptop. We have amazing teachers and staff members who deliver high-quality instruction while creating meaningful relationships with students. In addition to our robust fine arts and athletic opportunities, our 7 high school innovative model programs suit the needs of individual learning styles, engaging students in their interests, all while preparing them for lifelong success. The EVSC focuses on educating the whole child through GAIN, growth in academics through innovation and neuroeducation. GAIN is our nationally renowned framework that merges the fields of neuroscience, psychology, and best practice instructional techniques. To learn more about all the EVSC has to offer, please visit our website at evscschools.com.
Well, the pace of this game isn't as quick as what we saw in our 11 o'clock opener, but still, the points are there, 29 combined, and you can see Jeffersonville with a 1-point advantage to begin quarter number 2.
It really, in a lot of ways, 2 different styles when you think about Jeffersonville running that weave out front and the Eagles come back the other way. There's more of a motion offense. They go north and south where Jeffersonville runs it sideline to sideline and hoping to find that cutter underneath. But now you see the Eagles are thinking, you know what? They don't shoot the ball as well. We're going to go into a zone to start this second quarter. So now we wait and see what adjustments are made by a young team.
Down low, Douglas. He's had a lot of touches down there on the block. That's his 4th point. Red Devils lead up to 3.
Yeah, they found the opening. They don't have to say, you know what, you want to run that zone, we'll find the athleticism inside and get inside position, and they've got enough athletes to do it.
Just inside the 3-point line, nothing but net for Caden Knabb, his 5th point.
Yeah, they got guys can step out, big guys go outside, shoot that three. I like the deflection there.
Yep, 2 sophomores are beginning the scoring in our second quarter. They try to get a touch to Singleton.
You know, if there was one area that I look at the Eagles, and I really love 32 Chessers, that bucket's good.
Off-balance shot is good for Cooper.
But the one thing I would say for the Eagles is their post presence probably not as strong as what they have out on the perimeter. That's something they'll have to work on down the stretch.
High arcing floater, too strong for Nab. And turning to look just in time for that pass, and then picks up the assist. 3-pointer down for Sean Boyd. Another sophomore getting involved. That forces a Christian timeout. 22-16 now is the Jeffersonville lead.
Well, we just talked about, listen, can they shoot the three? And that's why you saw the Eagles go into that zone defense thinking that maybe that wasn't going to be the case, and then all of a sudden they come out and they hit a couple of big shots right there. So now as a coach you go, okay, we're down by 6. What adjustments do we come back with? We had a game plan coming in. We were going to stay by that game plan. We don't mind switching back and forth from man-to-man into the zone, but I think they'll get out of that zone, go back to man-to-man. I think they had a little more success there.
Coach Cruz wanting to sneak in a timeout, the largest deficit that his team has faced.
You know, one thing about the Eagles, too, and I look at their size and I look at their poise and I look at what they've been able to do here, and it's really a very small test so far. But I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of teams in single-A basketball in the state of Indiana. They're not going to see them in the tournament at any time.
Double team comes over on Nab, and he's able to get rid of it. Drive, Dunham. Another cross-court pass. Dunham's vision is another terrific tool to his resume.
Yeah, he sees the floor. In fact, you look at all these guys here tonight, they all really see the floor very well. And now you're watching an Eagles team. You know what? That set didn't work. Let's get patience in here, because Jeffersonville, they're trapping out front, and now they're trying to deny the wings.
Dunham catch and shoot. That one's off the mark. It's been a cold spell, and that pass out of bounds with no deflection. Jeffersonville gives it right back.
Well, you know, Singleton kind of got caught in the middle when he saw his man up that right side. He thought, should I throw it and lead him, or what should I do? He got kind of caught in the air. Really, when you turn around and make that pass, you should be over the top, make a really strong pass in your outlet.
Using the screen. Dunham curls off of another screen. Good defense here in this quarter by the Red Devils, although a foul that time called on Lyons.
The Lions had to come out, guard the three, and then once he came out, you just saw a good basketball move there by Dunham. He saw that first step, and I think it was his right step, and once he got by the defender, there wasn't a whole lot you could do.
Three-pointer, left side. Boy, it's been a cold streak from beyond the arc for Evansville Christian. Nice drive, good extra pass, right wing three, off the front of the rim. Singleton tips it to himself. Second chance for Jeffersonville, although Trey steps out of bounds.
You know, when he got that offensive rebound, he dribbled away from the double team. I would have loved to have seen him take that strong move, maybe a power dribble back to the middle to take it right up onto the rim. Don't waste any motion taking that ball back out and then trying to come back in. Because what you've done, you've allowed your defense to reset, and then once he took it to the baseline, really just kind of ran out of room.
Small break in the action as a couple of subs have checked in. Monty McGee's in for the first time. Drive baseline, may have dribbled it off his foot, or it was a Red Devil foot. Yeah, he dribbled off of.
May have been Cooper who's going down to double team, forcing him to the baseline.
Andrew Lynn is in. He's been the only sub to come off the bench so far for Coach Cruz. Good pass, and then back out to him. Good defense, though.
Yeah.
The closeouts by the Red Devils. Dunham, that's a really tough take, and it just trickles off the rim. Now pushing it with some pace. He'll retreat.
Well, I tell you what, I like the intensity of that Jeffersonville defense at the other end of the floor. Coach Wilkerson says, you know what, we're going to get up and guard. You're going to earn everything.
3 in the corner, catch and shoot. Dunham was late on the closeout, and it's good for Cooper, his second.
Boy, now you got some breathing room, and if you're Jeffersonville, you can do things like this. You can now trap and really try to force the action even more.
Spin move in the lane. Fakes the extra pass. Answering with a 3 of their own, Jackson Chesser.
Boy, I like his stroke. They're just so pure when they shoot. I know they haven't hit everything, and they've kind of ran in a little bit of a slump here in the last quarter or so, but they are very smooth, as is he.
3 threes in a row. Michael Cooper again. Reach and foul going to be called on Monty McGee. A little different strategy so far for Coach Wilkerson. He's had 4 bench guys check in.
You just saw that McGee shot moments ago, and then he picked up the foul. But, you know, they've kind of, speaking of Jeffersonville, they just kind of settled in now. You know, you look in that first quarter, missed a couple of shots, turned the ball over a couple of times, but I think Coach Wilkerson and his experience, not only as a player, but as a head coach, kind of got them settled down. As I said, they're a young basketball team, and you got to be patient with them and just help them learn the game as they go.
Red Devils so far outscoring the Eagles 13-5 this quarter. Tries to beat his man off the dribble. He loses the handle on it. An Eagles turnover on Cheshire.
Yeah, you know, Cheshire was trying to get to that baseline. I don't know if he was going to try to drive and go under the basket or if he was going to stop, but one thing you're noticing is this quickness now for Jeffersonville starting to take over on defense.
Nice package here for Cooper, but he can't convert the shot. Dunham. Actually, that was a save by Chesser. Here's Dunham. Moving things around, a 3-man tandem at the moment, and then the dump down, saving it inbounds, but into the hands of McDuffie. Stealing it right back. Dunham using the right hand on the left side. His shot's no good. Here's an attempt that falls short. Gets his own rebound. Boy, 4 chances for the Eagles to score right there. And Jeffersonville may opt to try to slow things down.
Boy, if I am Evansville Christian and I look at what happened in that sequence as you see it traveling there, I'm thinking to myself, first off, if Andrew Lane catches the basketball off that pass, he probably has a layup. So it kind of started from there, and then it just snowballed. And there are just times where that ball just isn't going to fall for you, and then you got to regroup, get yourself back together, get that first basket again, and then just be patient.
Eagles haven't scored in quite some time. Trying to change that. Chesser fakes the pass to Dunham, and his other guy wasn't ready for it in Schnepper.
Well, here's the other thing about it. You did a skip pass at the top when you could have just gone to Dunham and made the extra pass, because the defense all of a sudden, they trapped on the right side, and then they trailed. So go ahead, make the pass, make the safe pass, because you need a good possession there instead of the turnover, and just play within your offense. You don't need to do anything extra.
Well, turnovers starting to mount up for the team in white. Lead is at 9. It's going to be 11 as Douglas wasn't boxed out. He comes flying through.
Shot goes up. First thing you do, you need to turn around, find a man, and that's exactly what the Eagles did not do.
Here's a drive. Boy, there is a lid on this bucket right now for Evansville Christian. Douglas will pick up this personal after the offensive board by Cheshire, who's having a really active second quarter.
Yeah, look at this. Now you watch that. Nobody turned around to find the player coming down the lane, and that's generally where they're going to come from, is right down the middle. And on the other end, you're right. Sometimes that ball just will not go in the hoop no matter what you do. Now, the good news is here, Jarrett, though, if you're Evansville Christian, as bad of a quarter as you've had, you're still only down by 10.
And still some time left to make up some lost ground. Chesser, a perfect trip, 2 for 2. He's 4 for 4 in total and 7 points.
Get a stop here. You're under 2 minutes. Get the ball back, get another good possession. You know Jeffersonville, if they get it back, they'll probably hold for 1.
That man's got the hot hand, though. That's Michael Cooper for the 4th time.
Yeah, you know he's coming up. You got to locate him at the top, and they always talk about locate the shooters, and you knew where he was going to be, but nobody stepped out on him.
Defense all over the place for Jeffersonville. Dunham has the assist. The 3 is good for Andrew Lynn.
Well, I like their patience on the other side a lot better than I did the last couple of times.
A good cut, and that basket is good for Boyd. So anything you can do, I can respond with another score.
Yeah, you don't want to be trading baskets here at the end of this first half. You need some stops.
Trying another 3 was Lynn. Out of bounds. Singleton not happy with themselves, but here's the Lynn make.
Yeah, he had a good catch and shoot right there. I think the one in the corner, he probably hurried a little bit, because you know that Jeffersonville defense is running at you hard, and you have a tendency to shoot it quick.
Dunham catch and shoot. He's been off in this quarter. And now Cooper, who's been nothing but on.
Yeah, I like that play there by Boyd.
Michael Cooper, the star of this quarter, 11 in the quarter, 14 total points. Coach Wilkerson will want to talk things over on how they're going to attack this final 26 and a half seconds, already with an 11-point lead. They've made 4 threes in total in this quarter. Boyd has the other one, but Michael Cooper with the basketball creating space, but also utilizing his teammates to get open for some shots.
You know, when I look at this roster, I see Singleton, I see Laird, I see Cooper, I see Douglas, and I see Boyd, all sophomores. You might want to keep this because in 2 years, those 5 guys might be starting, and I'd hate to play them.
That's a dangerous 5 right there for sure. Most of those guys already do start, but Coach Wilkerson has a really promising future. This is just his first year, and this team's only going to get better, it appears.
Well, I think he probably grew a lot as a coach. He took the job up in Logansport, and yeah, it's tough to go up to Logansport because they at least recently don't have much of a basketball program, and he tried to build that up there, and that's a tough thing to do. But when he got a chance to come home, you're going to put your whole heart and soul into your alma mater.
Coach Wilkerson wants that same look, wants to run it again. Dunham trying to jump the pass to Cooper. It could be him taking the final shot. They got 3 seconds to decide. A nice cut using the glass and in right before the buzzer. Sean Boyd, 7 points in that quarter. It's a 13-point Jeffersonville lead. Boy, they hold Evansville Christian to 10 points in that second quarter. Coach Cruz not happy with what he saw from his team in that first half.
Well, and yeah, they didn't shoot very well, but there's a reason, and that's because Jeffersonville came out, defended well, closed out, didn't allow second and third shots. They just really defended the perimeter as well as you can.
That's your halftime score of the Tri-State Orthopedics Bosse Classic, game number 2. One of those threes put in by Lynn. Unfortunately, his team trails by 13 heading to the locker room.
Welcome to Benjamin Bosse High School, where your education is our #1 priority. As we show you around the school, you will see that we have some of the best and unique academic classes that makes Bosse one of Evansville's best kept secrets.
Hidden gem. Diverse. Family. Welcoming. Accepting. Eager.
Ever-changing. Here at Bosse High School, we take pride in giving our students the best learning environment possible while ensuring safety and security. We are well known for our sports teams and our sporting events. There are 13 IHSAA sports teams available to students throughout the school year. One thing that we're very proud of and unique to Bosse High School is that we offer programs such as Toyota 4T program, which our students learn about advanced manufacturing practices, and it gives students a career pathway into Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Indiana. We have our own radio and television program where students have the chance to earn college credits from the University of Southern Indiana and pursue a career pathway in broadcast television production. We strive for academic excellence by offering advanced placement, academic honors, and dual credit courses, as well as 5 different career pathways. Here at Bosse High School, we also offer a vast array of student activities that students can get involved into, such as the International Club, the Interact Club, being involved in National Honor Society, our academic teams, such as Spell Bowl or Academic Super Bowl. At Bosse High School, we provide a safe and welcoming environment, embracing all diversity, ensuring academic excellence, honoring achievement, and promoting pride in ourselves, our school, and our community.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
We can't have NBA basketball without the ball itself. So today we are going to go balls deep into the history of the ball, starting all the way back to the game's inception. Let's begin the animated timeline. The game of basketball was invented in the year 1891. Dr. James Naismith was its creator. Now, the game back then was much different than it is today. I'll save the evolution of the game itself for a later video. This video's topic is the balls. And the ball in 1891 was, well, a soccer ball. Now, soccer balls themselves were built a little different than they are today, but the important takeaway is that this ball actually wasn't used for dribbling. Dribbling wasn't a concept for basketball until 1897. As the game became more popular and grew, the ball had no business being a soccer ball. So in 1894, Dr. James Naismith reached out to A.G. Spalding to invent the first basketball ball. Spalding at the time was famous for making American footballs and Major League Baseball gloves. And you can totally see the inspiration of the design, as this ball is laced up at the center like a football. Fun fact about this ball specifically, to celebrate its 125th anniversary, Spalding remade the ball in 2019 around the same time as the Raptors-Warriors finals. As the years went on, basketball got so popular it was able to have its own league formed around the sport. And in 1937, the NBL, or National Basketball League, was formed in the United States, and they needed their own NBL ball. This ball was no longer built like a pigskin football, as the laces are removed for optimal dribbling. The NBA, National Basketball Association, was founded in 1946, but it wasn't till around 1950 when the game got a much upgraded ball. The game got so popular that it started bringing attention of many new fans showing up to watch the games. Keeping up with, spectating, and watching the pace of the game as a fan was difficult, as the brown ball color was hard to keep up with rapid court movement on the brown floor. So around 1950, the ball was remade into an orange ball. The orange ball was much more flashy and visually appealing to fans as they can easily see it dart around the court. Decades later, the game ball kept evolving. Around 1971, the NBA changed the design of the ball from 4 leather panels to 8 leather panels. Having 8 leather panels instead of 4 allowed for a much better grip on the ball itself for better dribbling techniques. And 1 year later in 72, the first synthetic leather ball was made, which made producing the ball much cheaper. And now we bring you the iconic NBA ball that many of you know and love, the 1984 Spalding Larry O'Brien official Spalding ball. To quote Heritage Auctions, Wilson had the NBA contract to produce basketballs, which ended following the '83 finals. Also moving out of the office of commissioner was Larry O'Brien. Eventually, Spalding picked up the contract and David Stern assumed the role as top man on February 1st, 1984. This ball is the ball of choice that many fans around the world prefer while playing basketball. Moving on to a slight adaptation of this ball was that failure of a ball in 2006. This '06 ball was made out of cross-traction microfiber, but the ball only lasted for the beginning of the season as many players complained that it roughed up their fingers, skin, and was overall a terrible ball. The ball was quickly discontinued and the NBA went back to the classic leather ball. Going forward in the future, coming up for the 2021-2022 NBA season, Wilson will replace Spalding as the official NBA basketball. Now, the leather used for the balls themselves will still come from the same provider, so they won't physically feel any much different. Also, the balls will keep their 8-panel configuration and performance specifics as the ball that is currently used, so it's pretty much the same game with a different name.
Game number 2 of the Tri-State Orthopedics Bosse Winter Classic right now. Jeffersonville leading things 37-24 over Evansville Christian. Jarrett Lewis with you alongside Troy Darengowski. Game number 1 was exciting. Game number 2 has also lived up to the hype, and I can expect we're going to see some much better play from Evansville Christian. Coach Cruz not pleased with how that first half ended. He's going to hopefully see his team pick up the pace a little bit, get this down below a 10-point game.
Well, we always talk about how do you finish a half and how do you start a half. And the way Jeffersonville finished that first half, you can understand why they have a 13-point lead. You saw Evansville Christian drop back into their zone, and they got shot out of it very, very quickly. And it all came down to that word I used a lot in the first half. For a young Jeffersonville team, that was patience. Believe in the system. Believe what I tell you to do. Sharon Wilkerson called that timeout, said, let's do this, and they did that. And that's why there was a big difference the way they played in the first quarter and the second quarter. Now the question is, Evansville Christian, how do they get back into this thing? They know right now coming out, Jeffersonville is going to keep that defensive pressure on those guards. You're not going to be allowed to get a whole lot of drives inside. So now you got to find a way to take it one possession at a time. If you can do that and certainly hit some shots that they didn't do in the second quarter, and then you got to find a way to get some stops because Jeffersonville has a lot of confidence in the shooting department now.
This will tell a story too. Josiah Dunham had 7 points all in that first quarter. So he did not score at all in that second quarter. That just goes to show if you're Evansville Christian, you trail by 1 after 1. Jeffersonville picks up their defense. They found out who the stud guy is, which I think everybody in the gym knows who it is. But now you go from trailing by 1 to trailing by 13. Josiah Dunham probably has a huge impact on how this second half is going to go down.
Yeah, and you want to get the guy who's scoring your points. You want to get him the basketball. But he's got to hit a couple of shots, get his confidence back a little bit. But what you've seen so far from this Jeffersonville defense is the way they make you hurry your shots. And that's the one thing that Dunham doesn't want to do is have hurried shots.
Eagles now working towards our left. Looking for that backdoor cut. Jeffersonville recognizes it, and it's poked out of bounds by Douglas.
Now the big difference was there. Luke Davis out on the high post. If he throws it immediately, he's okay, but he hesitated for just a moment and then tried to thread that in there between 3 red jerseys.
All over Dunham is this Jeffersonville defense, and now Chester will try to get involved. He had a good first half, trying to pick up an assist, which he does. Makes it a 10-point game. Good 3 by Schnepper.
Well, they ran that set perfectly, got the shot they wanted.
Quick missed shot on this end, but Cooper has an O board.
You know what, about that shot came from the left side. Anytime the ball comes to the left side, more often than not, it's going to bounce to the right side. That backside forward needs to box out.
Douglas, catch and shoot. That's pure. 6 first half points for Douglas, and now his first bucket of the second half.
Well, you can just kind of tell they have really settled down. Speaking of the Red Devils, they're playing with much more confidence than they did early. And again, just playing within the system.
A drive, and now reversing course back out. Stumbling, Dunham leaves his man in his tracks and gets a nice bounce.
You know, I'd like to see him do that more. Sometimes he kind of settles to the outside shot. There's a nice alley-oop.
Cooper finds a nice runner in Lyons.
You know, I go back to Dunham, and he takes that first step, and it's so quick. And if you misstep defensively, he's able to beat you. And that time, when he made that last shot, he just took it up strong.
Lyons tasked with guarding Dunham. They say no shot. It was before Josiah rose up.
You know, for Connor Lyons, too, to think about what he's got to do. I know he's a senior, he's been around the game a long time, but he's got to guard a guy that if you don't respect him from the outside, he'll hit shots. And then if you go to guard him on the outside, he'll drive on you in a very strong fashion. So he's got a really tough task today.
Wide open. Top of the key. That's good. Can't leave that guy open.
Nope, he's got 3 of them today, and that defense sucked back down inside. Want to have your guards stay outside, know where the shooters are.
Does he still have the hot hand? Cooper, he misses his first. Singleton went over Davis to try to get that rebound.
Yeah, it really wasn't a bad foul from that standpoint. He was just reaching up over the top. I think he kind of thought he had more room than he actually did and made a little bit of contact. But you know what? He'll learn how to get that inside position as time goes along. Just a big sophomore inside, but a lot of potential.
Davis finds a backdoor cut in. Dunham. That's a good-looking play.
Yeah, I tell you what, he got that first step again. He's got, speaking of Dunham, just an excellent first step, and he sold it well to the outside. Once you sell it, if that defender doesn't turn around, you're going to be in big trouble.
Trying to move around against this zone defense. Chester throwing his right leg up. It's down to a 7-point game. Another lob, but good deflection. Defense there for the Eagles.
Yeah, it was Chester back there on that backside.
Dunham, that's his spot. Josiah Dunham starting to catch fire. He already has 6 points in this quarter. And a second, along with 3 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Coach Wilkerson having to call a timeout.
Well, it's a good timeout. Team makes a run, and you heard the old adage all the time, a good team's going to make a run on you. It depends on how, as you see the replay here of that 3, but it depends on how you respond to it. And a lot of times the best thing to do is get a timeout. You got a young basketball team, get them to calm down a little bit. See, I thought that was not a good play to throw that ball inside simply because you have Chester on that backside, and he's so big on defense that he read that well. So now the question is, how will this Jeffersonville team respond when they had the big lead cut down to just 5? And we saw them do that, though, in the first quarter. Things weren't going as well as they had hoped. And then all of a sudden they kind of turned things around and got settled into their offense in the second quarter.
13-point halftime lead has been cut down to 5. Chester at 6'4" was able to patrol that bottom part of the zone on that lob, and it led to the Dunham 2. And out of the Red Devils timeout. Down to Singleton. Outside, that three is off the mark from our vantage point. Singleton has a second chance opportunity, and maybe what you don't want to do to find yourself in another hole is give up second chances.
Well, it gives Sean Boyd credit because it was Boyd who hustled after that basketball, was able to get basically the offensive rebound and another possession, which led to the 2 points. So second chance points can be so big in a close game.
Wide open in the corner. Back-to-back threes for Caden Knabb. He's got 3 of them and 11 points in total.
Jerry, we see so many times where your defense sucks down inside looking to help. My philosophy is this: you know what? You've got guys down inside, make them play defense instead of always looking for help. But you got to stay out on the wings. This is a game of basketball now that is so perimeter oriented, you need to guard outside.
Dunham trying to go around the entry pass that was heading for Douglas. He picks up his first personal foul.
See, you look at that replay right there. You looked at the forward that was supposed to be guarding on that low side. Where was he? He was down in the low block, and he actually even got trapped on the inside. There was no way he could get out in time.
Davis trying his best to front up Singleton, and now Cooper wants to reset the offense. Double foul is going to be the call. Davis, there wasn't really much contact. It was kind of a lot of acting.
Well, and the one thing about it is you saw Davis, he puts his arm underneath Singleton. Singleton comes back over the top with his arm. And instead of just trying to get one of them, you get them both, and that'll probably get to the point now where you say, you know what, enough is enough. We're not going to hear this anymore.
They couldn't decide who wanted to go over on the hug. You know, you got one person that has to go over with their arms with the hug, and then somebody usually goes around the waist, and they were fighting for who wanted to go be on top.
Does hug and fighting go into the same category? I know exactly what you're talking about. Everybody wants to gain an advantage.
Cooper now trying to score with a two-pointer, which he does. A lovely floater from Michael Cooper.
You know what? He is smooth. We have seen him hit the outside shot. You see him do a floater right there.
Knabb, can he hit another one? No, the trifecta is not there. Dunham nearly ripped it from behind from Singleton.
Boy, I love it when a big man can take the ball and get down the floor as quickly as he can. Yes, guys that are 6'7", 6'8" do that a lot more than they used to.
Did you ever think you'd see a game that's evolved to where we have 6'7" guys able to dribble it down the floor like that?
No, because the first one I can remember when I was a teenager was Magic Johnson, and everybody thought 6'9", he's doing this. Now everybody does it.
Michael Cooper is doing a lot of made threes this afternoon. That's his 5th one.
Yeah, you know what? His catch and shoot is good. If you're not up on him, you're going to get burned, and he has shown that today. And he's got length, long arms, gets that release really high.
Lynn sees some open space, but has to give it back to Dunham. Dunham, he'll try a three. It's no good. Singleton grabs the board.
I think they settled that time. You know, they get about 30 seconds in, and he just decided to shoot it. Needed a better set.
Boy, they look alike, but Connor Lyons this time knocks down a three. They got the same hair flowing. They got number 5s rocking on the jersey.
Well, I'm going to tell you what the similarity was between me and them is we had that same hair when I was a senior. Yeah.
Again, I'm going to have to see some proof, some pictures, perhaps.
I know you're thinking, you don't have any hair now. How'd you have any then? But I had some pretty locks back then.
Is that the same case with Keith? He had some.
Well,
he had some lettuce on him.
He had something on his head. He'll tell you that he had a head of hair, but I really don't believe him. You know, anybody that would go have a spot of tea on a Saturday afternoon, I mean, what does that tell you? Now, you just heard Sharon Wilkerson perhaps talk about this and their defense. He yelled at number 2, and I think somebody spilled their drink. But he said, don't gamble. And he's right. Keep everything in front of you. You don't need to get a steal right here. You can get the steal, but don't overplay this.
There's some confusion at the scores table, but they got it all figured out. And the lead has crawled back up to 12. Could it be 9? No. Flying in, Chester rips it away.
You know, Evansville Christian hit a couple of shots, and they did so with this guy right there and also Nab. And now they can't find a shot, and they're looking like they did in that second quarter.
Jeffersonville has now gone on a little bit of a run, and they could grow this lead. Singleton, a little runner in the lane, is going to kick it out. Cooper, can he get another one? That's number 6. Michael Cooper, the microwave is running.
Look at Vinny Johnson, huh? Yeah, he's feeling it right now. When you get in that zone, you can be really tough to stop. Now, what did that timeout do for Jeffersonville? Think about that. Sometimes
that's all you need to get your guys going again, get them back into a rhythm. The rhythm, although good ball movement, has been off for Evansville Christian the past couple of minutes. A dangerous pass. Chester has 3 seconds at the volleyball line. Drives in, a little runner, won't fall. And how about the run to close out that third quarter for the Red Devils? They lead by 15, the final 8 minutes upcoming on IndianaSRN.
Winter Classic, the original Rock-A-Bar, Firehouse Subs, Nations Medicines, and PepsiCo.
Lines, personal service, and familiar faces, head to Optimum Wellness. Ask about over-the-counter supplements, our compounding services, and hormone therapy. Plus, get free delivery from your one-stop pharmacy in Newburgh. Optimum Wellness. Save up to 80% on your prescriptions at Nations Medicine on Pollock, your one-stop pharmacy in Evansville. Need one-on-one service, special packaging, or even immunizations? Nations has you covered. For no lines, personal service, and familiar faces, head to Nations Medicine on Pollock.
Hard to believe, huh?
Hard to believe is exactly right. That closeout by the Red Devils. The lead got down to what? 5 points?
Yeah, and then that's when the timeout was called. And then all of a sudden, Jeffersonville comes out. Not only do they get stops, then Evansville Christian goes cold again. They've been kind of in this roller coaster ride here in the shooting department, but then Jeffersonville showed a lot of poise and ended up getting that big lead because they hit big shots. They defended well. And I'll tell you what, and I can't emphasize this enough. You've got a bunch of sophomores on this Jeffersonville team, and I think they believe in Coach Wilkerson and what he's been able to do, and they got a little out of discombobulated, and they came right back, settled in, and got the big lead.
Douglas going at Chester, a couple good dribble moves.
See, you see Coach Wilkerson, set it again. Let's run it again. If you don't like what you see, put it back in motion again.
Wants this team to stay disciplined. You can hear him.
And you have to. Young players, you have to tell them over and over and over again to the point where they're doing it and they're not even thinking about it anymore. And I like what he's done with this team.
Cooper still has the hot hand. That pass held up for Dunham to bat it out.
Well, and Cooper got kind of caught there. He starts to go up with it, and then he had nowhere to go with the basketball. Probably lucky that he didn't turn it over right there. But the thing is, keep your dribble as long as you can until you're ready to pass, and you won't be put in that situation.
Douglas looking to attack at Chester again. Cooper, 22 points, 6 made threes, having a coming out party. Just a sophomore, as most of this starting five is staying patient and getting his man up in the air. It'll be a foul on Davis, and Monty McGee will have a trip to the line.
Well, that was all done because, first off, you had patience offensively. Number two, you had a great pass out front to find the open man, and that just came down to keeping your head up, your eyes up, knowing where your teammates are, and just a good set. And I have to go back, if I may, when you hear Coach Wilkerson on the sidelines. Reset, reset, reset. be patient. Let the offense work for you, and they did that. When it wasn't there, they were able to turn it around and get a good executed offense.
Lane violation on the second free throw. McGee made the first. He's the 7th different scorer for Lafayette Jeff. Jeffersonville.
You know what you don't see much in basketball anymore? 3-second calls. And you know why? Because we're so perimeter oriented, nobody gets caught down in the lane anymore. You don't see players posting up much.
That's very true. That's a good point. Chesser had to stop. Took a bump, but still able to make the bucket. Chester's got 9.
Well, they're going to need a strong run. Speaking of the Eagles, they've got to now get several stops in a row and hit some big shots. Because right now you're looking at a Jeffersonville team that's going to really use some clock as much as they can. If it's not there, we're not going to force it.
Cooper was able to beat Chester off the dribble. But the Red Devils will surely start to take off as much time as they can each possession. No need to move extremely fast.
Well, think if you run 40 seconds off at a time, and even if you give the ball back, I mean, you're essentially running off. If you had 5 more possessions, you can run off another 3.5 minutes.
Drive and a nice dish to find McGee. P.J. Douglas has that assist.
Well, Jared, sometimes defenses do get tired as you see a 3 again. They get tired of chasing, and that's why you end up with a breakdown.
And Dunham, plenty of space to rise up for his second 3. He has 16 points, but the deficit is at 13. A timeout with 5:17 left to go in this ball game, and perhaps Coach Cruz wanted to go over what type of defense he wants to see to finish off this game.
Lines, personal service, and familiar faces, head to Optimum Wellness. Ask about over-the-counter supplements, our compounding services, and hormone therapy. Plus, get free delivery from your one-stop pharmacy in Newburgh. Optimum Wellness. Save up to 80% on your prescriptions at Nations Medicine on Pollock, your one-stop pharmacy in Evansville. Need one-on-one service, special packaging, or even immunizations? Nations has you covered. For no lines, personal service, and familiar faces, head to Nations Medicine on Pollock.
57-44, and game number 2 of the Tri-State Orthopedics Bosse Winter Classic. Game number 3 will be right after this one, which features Evansville Rights taking on Althoff Catholic. There's one of the many Michael Cooper threes that he has put down. He had 3 of them in the second quarter. He has 2 in the third. Big reason why this lead has, even though it went down to 5 points, once we started the second half, it has climbed all the way back up to 13.
Well, one thing about it, you saw the defender go underneath that screen against Cooper. You can't go underneath that screen because he read that so well, and he's such a good outside shooter that you got to go over the top, force him off of that spot.
Christian number 11, Jake Schnepper, his first team score.
They call the foul on Schnepper. Just his first foul. Nobody in real serious foul trouble for either side. Douglas. For his size, Douglas is really good with the basketball. Dunham a little bit too physical, trying to snatch that one away from Boyd.
Well, I know he didn't really like the call, but it's right in front of us, and you can't go through the player to get the basketball, and that's, well, and you give him a little credit, too. You're going to have to start doing something here pretty quickly. And that means fouling to stop the clock. You're going to have to do it.
Evansville Christian has committed 5 team fouls. A good cut and a good find. Falling down after that shot was Lyons. And so he'll trail as Dunham brings it across. Dunham, another 3. Goes back to back. Josiah Dunham, that's the last guy you want to see put up a 3-point shot.
Yeah, got to find him no matter where he is. You know, he's such a good shooter that sometimes when he misses, you're more surprised than when he makes it. but he's been kind of a streak shooter here. And a lot of shooters that are good are streak shooters. They get going, they're hard to stop. And at the same time, you see him just step out, get his base underneath him, and just drain the shot. That takes, bottom line, he shoots it a lot in practice.
Tiptoeing on the sideline was Cooper. Dunham has the steal and the easy lay-in on the other end.
Here they come. All good teams make a run, and they're doing it again. You know what made that interesting is you see another turnover is when Dunham got the steal. Instead of having that defender challenge him, he gets the head on the dribble and then steps in front of the defender. He had nowhere to go with it, and that's what forced the easy layup.
This run starting to look like how it was in the third quarter.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Dunham has 8 points in this quarter. They try another three. This one up from Nab. Loose ball foul going against Jeffersonville.
Well, you know what we saw earlier is that Jeffersonville was getting those offensive rebounds, and now Evansville Christian getting offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities. And boy, it's hard to believe this thing can be down to possibly a 5-point game if they hit a three.
Dunham. Oh, no, almost. He was halfway down. Another whistle.
Oh.
And a jump ball with Chesser, and I believe Singleton was down there. That shot was, once it hit the rim, I about said again. But it was halfway down and out for Dunham.
You know what? If you would have, none of us would have blamed you at all because you're right. It was halfway down. But you see the Eagles got another offensive possession.
Dunham catch and shoot too strong. May have rushed that one. It was pretty good closeout defense. And this time the loose ball foul is on the Eagles.
I think it's a bad shot by Dunham, but every once in a while I kind of see when he jumps up, his legs kind of leave him a little bit. I think if he goes straight up and down, he has a pretty good opportunity to hit that shot. And you know what, if this run would have continued, I guarantee Coach Wilkerson would have called a timeout, settled his team down. We've seen him do that twice, and both timeouts have been hugely productive for his basketball team.
Didn't realize Davis had 4 fouls before that, so he picks up number 5. He's going to sit for the rest of this one. Cooper misses the front end. It's just the 4th free throw shot by Jeffersonville. They're 2 of 4.
Well, we saw some free throws missed in that first game. Princeton in the second half, they couldn't hit a free throw, and it ended up costing them.
Nab wide open after the drive by Dunham. We get a whistle.
Well, delay a game on
Yeah.
Schnepper touching the basketball when it came through the net.
Nab has 4 threes now and 14 points.
You know, sometimes the ball comes through, it's going to hit you in the head. You got to grab it. You know?
It's back down to a 5-point game. Dunham reaches in on Douglas. But you blink, and yeah, the drive made by Josiah Dunham. And then Nab, who hasn't missed very much today. Still in the 1-and-1. Douglas, his front end is no good.
Well, it's 2 in a row. Close games, you need free throws.
Dunham will opt to kick out again. That one was well short.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Any of his feet said there was no strength in his legs at all.
Under 3 minutes.
Yeah, he was all upper body. You're going to make a catch like that, you got to be, and then, of course, there's your foul. They want to foul quickly, and I understand that, but one thing you got to do, if you're going to catch and shoot, you need some lift.
Schnepper now has 3. There's the Eagles bench. But Douglas is back to the line trying to redeem himself. And that one rims out.
3 in a row.
Free throws refuse to go down.
Man, it's potential 6 points taken off the board.
Dunham. That's a huge swing. Another Josiah Dunham 3, his 4th. He's got 23 points, and now it's a 1-possession game.
Wow. Well, we talk about players like Dunham. I mean, he's used to playing in big-time situations and making big-time shots, and I know they need him in order to win this game, but look at that. They don't step out on him and force him to another spot, and once he got those feet set, shooters love it straight away, and he's just been a huge, huge part of this comeback.
3 threes in this quarter. He did not score at all in the second quarter, and Evansville Christian right now riding an 11-2 run to get back and make this a brand new ball game.
Well, this, whether Evansville Christian wins or loses or Jeffersonville wins or loses, it's a really big learning situation both ways. You look at a Christian team, don't give up. They were down in double digits moments ago, and all of a sudden you're right back in it. And for Jeffersonville, you can't let off when you got the gas down on somebody. You got to take them out. And I don't think they're playing like they're playing really conservative right here. They just haven't been able to, and they need a timeout right there. They just haven't been able to finish it out the way they want to. It's going to be a full timeout.
Quick thinking by Coach Wilkerson. We'll step aside. 2:05 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Serving all of Indiana, Indiana Members Credit Union has continued to grow while keeping our focus on you. We offer free personal checking and savings accounts, the lowest auto loan rates available, and a variety of mortgage loan options customized to your needs. For a limited time, stop in and receive a $200 bonus with a new savings, checking, and direct deposit. Eastside, Westside, or our Newburgh location, stop by today and discover the IMCU difference and get your $200 bonus. At IMCU, it's you that matters.
A brand new ball game. 2:05 left to go in game number 2 of our Tri-State Orthopedics Bosse Winter Classic. Evansville Christian has come roaring back. Or I should say soaring. The Eagles have come soaring back.
Very good.
To just trail by 2. They trailed by 15 when this fourth quarter began.
Well, Dunham, if I'm not mistaken, 17 points now in the second half, but more importantly, he has 8 points over the last couple of minutes, and that's been huge. Now this is the third key timeout made by Sharon Wilkerson. Let's see how they do this one. The first 2 were as good a timeouts as you're going to get in high school basketball. Now let's see what happens in number 3.
Threading the needle, dribbling around was Boyd.
One thing about it, you still got to play to win this game. I know they're being conservative right here. They haven't looked to score as much as they normally would, but you still have to look to win.
Wasting a lot of time. Already 35 seconds off the clock. Cooper, midair. Changed his decision.
Boy, he's done that a couple of times. He makes you a little nervous. Thing is, in the next foul, you're in double bonus, so no matter what, you get 2 here. Here's the other thing about it, though. Jeffersonville has not shot the free throw well here in this fourth quarter.
They're 1 of 5 in this fourth quarter. 2 of 6 overall today. Evansville Christian shot all of their free throws in the first half. They are 6 of 7 as a team, and Douglas does make the first.
Well, that's big right there just from a confidence standpoint to get a free throw when things aren't falling late in the game.
A perfect trip, much needed for Douglas, who's in double figures now. And it also makes it a 2-possession game. Dunham trying to stay on fire. Short jumper will not go. Final 60 seconds.
I thought he had a step on the defender at the top of the key. And I really thought when that defender took a step back and he still had his dribble that he would pull up and shoot another 3. Might have been a better shot than the one he took. Well, how about this? You miss the front end of a 1-and-1 3 straight times, and yet it might be the free throw here. It's going to win you the game.
First one is always good to put down. Boyd has 8 points. He had 7 in the second quarter.
You know where he's been instrumental? Just able to get the 50-50 ball, a guy who hustles after the basketball no matter where it is. Just an excellent player that you can bring off the bench.
Dunham rises up, rims out, and there he is getting a rebound, is Boyd. Down the floor, wide open, an easy lay-in for Connor Lyons. And all of a sudden, the lead's up to 8, 40 seconds left.
Yeah, you shot that three, and probably if I would have had it over to do over again, I'd have had him shoot the three before that.
Dunham flips it in. Quick timeout by Coach Cruz. His team trailing by 6, 30.1 on the game clock, and now it's a matter of you're trying to maybe foul the right guy to send him to the line.
Tri-State Orthopedics is the leader in orthopedic care, with 35 providers treating nearly 30,000 patients each year. Our orthopedic specialists have the expertise and experience to treat the most common and complex conditions. For care you can trust, visit tristate-ortho.com today. Tri-State Orthopedics is the leader in orthopedic care, with 35 providers treating nearly 30,000 patients each year. We're excited to welcome Dr. Nicholas Rensing to our Evansville locations, as well as our new Vincennes location now open. For care you can trust, visit tristate-ortho.com today.
It's been a fun battle between Josiah Dunham and Michael Cooper. Cooper hasn't scored in this quarter, which is a completely different story for Dunham. He has scored 13 points this quarter. He has 26. Cooper also with 26 points. Here's some of those points for Josiah. They trail by 6, and Douglas has missed 2 free throws this quarter, but he's also made his last 2. So kind of pick your poison on who you might want to shoot from the line.
Well, the percentages, you know, they'll get it into the hands of the one who can shoot it the best, or shooting the at least higher percentage here at the end of the ball game, as that's a pretty easy call there against Chesser.
A lot of time comes off the clock, about 8 seconds, and Boyd, who was perfect on his last trip, is at the line.
Free throws for Jeffersonville, number 24, Sean.
And of course, he just hit 2. You want maybe a guy who has been shooting free throws late in the ball game to be back there again. Has a little better feel, a little better rhythm as he misses the first, but the good news is with the double bonus being in effect, he'll get another one.
Second free throw, this time is good. 7-point lead. Chesser hands off with Nab. Dunham wants it back. Good defense by Cooper. A pretty good shot. Surprised that Dunham was able to get it off. Evansville Christian will opt not to foul. Jeffersonville's going to walk out of here with a 7-point victory, 64-57. A hard-fought match between 1A and 4A. Eagles hung around. They dug themselves a couple of holes. They were able to call back, but ultimately too little too late here in this fourth quarter.
They'll benefit from the game, speaking of the Eagles, because they made 2 great comebacks against a very good basketball team. On the other side of the ledger, Coach Sharon Wilkerson had 3 very big timeouts that really proved key in their win, and a young basketball team got a quality victory here today.
Game number 3 is up next. We'll be back after just a short break, 10 minutes about in between games. Approximately a 2 p.m. tip-off between Evansville Rights and Althoff Catholic when we return. This is the Tri-State Orthopedics Bosse Winter Classic on IndianaSRN.